is up, chat room? How you doing tonight? Want to try something a little different, given that this is only my second stream. A lot of room to do things that are different. But if you're here, if you're tuned in, say hey in the chat. Love to know that you're here. I am gonna be working on the landing page for a book club offer for my book, The Tiny MBA, and a bunch of folks have been asking about, doing it as a book club, reading it together. Some folks were asking, would we do any kind of discounts? And I said, absolutely, that's easy. But I was thinking we could do a little bit better than discounts, and started putting this page together, but lots has been going on, so I've been kind of distracted. I thought maybe giving myself a little bit of time to focus on this for the next, hour or so, see who stops by, and also try out this new view in my stream setup, which I think is pretty cool. Actually, I'm going to try a slightly different one. Is this the right one? What happened to all my goodies? Hang on. Ooh. Am I still live? I don't know. I don't know what I just did. Let's see here. Twitch. Am I still live? Are you still with me, chat room? Say hello if you're in the chat room. Oh, it looks like you are. Okay, cool. All right. I was on the wrong profile here. I've been working with my friend Nick's Mad Science. You should check out his channel. He's been helping me out with all my stream setup. Helped me build this pretty cool new layout that you can see my screen. In the future, we're going to do some stuff where we can see each other's screens, perhaps. But let's see. I want to turn off. I'm still figuring out my sound here. So if you're in the chat and you're able to hear me, let me know. How is my volume? Can you hear me okay? Because I have no idea. Turn off the monitor. All right. Let's give this a go. So here's where my head is so far. Put together, this is a really basic landing page, and this is really just a variation of the the main sales page. Nothing really new or fancy here, just kind of borrowing styles and stuff like that. We don't need to do anything fancy. But I wanted to speak to folks who organize book clubs, business masterminds, stuff like that, and let them know that, not only can they do a book club, what can I do to stop them, but we're going to do a little bit to help them out. And I had in my head the idea of a couple of packages. My original idea was basically two packages. Package number one that gives you, a discount on the book, and for a group of, I'm thinking like a minimum of 5. I was originally thinking 10, but some folks were telling me that their masterminds are 5 people because 10 people's kind of too many for a productive mastermind. So I don't want to exclude a group of people who are helping each other from this. So I think we're going to make the minimum 5 for the discount. But I was also thinking it would be cool to put together, a little one sheet with some prompts or questions, just a little bit of extra guidance to help people use the book, because I think it's a little bit different from a usual book club thing where everyone would read the book or read the chapters and then come back and talk about it. There's not really chapters. People are going to read through this book pretty quickly. That's the goal. So I think it's more like, when you read through it, what did what pages stood out to you? It was like one of the first questions I'm thinking. But we can talk through a couple of those. I'll get to that maybe a little bit later. And then I was thinking, that's the main package. So if you get 5 or more people, you get a discount on the books, and you get some extra goodies. Yo, what's up, Maxell? How you doing? Glad you're here. How's my sound? Can you hear me? I have no idea. I've been talking for a few minutes and I have no idea how my volume is because I still don't really know what I'm doing. So give me a quick sound check in the chat would be super, super helpful. My music's too loud, too quiet. I've got my air conditioner running in the background too. I don't know how distracting that is, if you can even hear it. Music is just slightly louder than me. I can definitely turn that down. Cool. So what I was just saying, Maxell, is I'm going to work on this new landing page. My thought process is I want to kind of have two packages for folks who run some sort of business book club or mastermind or something like that, to encourage folks to grab a copy for a group of friends, read the book in the 30 minutes or so that it takes to read it, and then the real, from everyone I'm talking to, the coolest part about reading this book is not while you're reading the book, it's when you sort of close the book and you start thinking about it. And I feel like that's a really cool opportunity to encourage people to create that experience with their friends and stuff like that. So we're gonna do that. But I was also thinking that for some folks who maybe want to have me come in for Q&A of some kind, we can do sort of a premium package above the basic one. And then I was even thinking, if somebody's just got them and a couple of friends, or I'm imagining a teacher who might not have the funds or resources to organize all of this, I kind of want to do a free version. And so my original 2-package idea is now maybe a 3-package idea, and I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. But if I do, and this is sort of what I'm getting to on the page here, I've got the and this is all kind of messed up. I've got to clean this up. That's what we're going to be working on in just a minute. I'm thinking 3 packages: a free, a foundations, and live. Free is basically will be an email box where you can drop your email address and sign up, and I'll send you a little PDF that's got a few tips for organizing a book club, some questions to ask the group, some ideas for how to facilitate that sort of thing. Then you'll have the foundations version, which is that, but a discount if you've got 5 or more people. And then I've got live, which is the same sort of thing, but also add in some sort of scheduled live 45-minute Q&A with me coming in obviously over Zoom. I'm not going to do this stuff in person. So that's sort of where my head is strategically. I started just fleshing some of this stuff out the other day. This is not complete, so we're gonna work on finishing this together. I might think through some of my decisions here, and one of the things that I've got laid out was this basic table. The discount for the group size. I'm thinking a sliding scale. I really do want this to be accessible for people, but if there's groups that are bigger, bigger groups buying more books, I can reward you a little bit more, that sort of thing. So that's where we're at. If you've got any questions about how I'm thinking about this, I'm coming up with the strategy or the copywriting, let me know. Otherwise, I might just bump the music up a little bit and start tweaking, and I'll jump in a little bit to narrate what I'm thinking. So when I'm thinking about a landing page, the very first thing that I want to do is make sure that this landing page is speaking directly to whoever it is that I'm trying to talk to. So the word book club being right here in the header for somebody who that's going to speak to, that word's going to catch their attention. One of the things that I was just saying, that 5 to 10 person thing, I originally had that in this opening line, but I'm pretty sure I'm actually going to take that out. There's nothing about, I don't want that to be a reason for somebody to, decide to exclude themselves for no reason at all. So I think I'm going to take that out. I'm pretty happy with the rest of this upper part. I think, in terms of what people actually want, learn together, save money, free bonuses, I might come back to this later and make this a little more pain oriented, but I mean the truth is this is not a hard sell. When I say pain oriented, when we do our sales copywriting, we try to lead with the audience's pain, and then introduce the dream. What is their experience like without that pain before we offer the fix. That's sort of the persuasive arc of the copywriting that we teach, and it works super well. But for somebody who's already into the book and considering a book club, we don't really need to do all of that work. So the hardcore persuasion doesn't really need to be here. What I do need to do is make it really clear who this is for and what it is that they're going to get, right? Because I don't have to convince them too hard. So so I'm also, I've got a lot of exclamation points in here. I don't know about you, but if I'm not careful, my sentences get kind of shouty. So we'll do that, and I really just want to sort of focus on these 3 packages, and then maybe we'll come back to that header. Very first thing, package number 1, if we go with Tiny MBA Book Club Free, I don't love that title. I might come back and revise that later, come up with something a little more focus specific, audience-centric, reader-centric. It's not bad. It's not great. If you've got ideas for what we could call these packages in the chat room, shout them out. That'd be cool. But let's start with this headline here. I'm gonna stop talking and start writing and thinking. Let's see. Shaping it around the audience as you wanted to before. Not sure myself. Yeah, I feel like this is one of those things where I go back and forth, and the context kind of depends. Sometimes I write the headlines first, and then flesh them out. This feels like a spot where there's a good chance that what I call the package will actually come out in the copywriting. So I'm not going to harp too much on these titles until I've got sort of the main copywriting right. And as you're gonna see, like, I'm gonna write stuff and erase stuff and go back, and this is like this is gonna be super nasty. It's pretty rare to sort of see the mess as it comes through, so maybe this is useful and interesting. I don't know. I hope it is. Let's see here. So I'm thinking, this free package, potentially for somebody who already owns the book, already own a copy of the Tiny MBA, want to talk about it with a couple of friends. I'm gonna skip the title and the budget thing and go to something like, you can use or drop your email in the box below, and I'll send you a super quick, I'll send you a 1-page cheat sheet for a 1-page cheat sheet with some bonus questions and prompts to help you have a conversation, have a productive and valuable conversation about the lessons in the book. I feel pretty good about that. And that's the whole thing. So let's see how that looks. And while that looks, hey, what's up, Nick? I was wondering if you might drop by. I thought about texting you, Nick, about going live, and then I decided, screw it, I'll just do it. Shared your tweet and Justin Jackson about audience first and turned into a podcast. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Super appreciate that. I will take a peek at that later. For those of you who are just tuning in, what I've got going on here is the landing page for a book club offer. I don't know, offer's not a great word, but folks have been saying they want to do a book club with the Tiny MBA, and I was like, that's cool. Obviously that's going to be good for book sales. More importantly, this is a book that you don't just read, you actually like take the time to think about. And I was just chatting with Maxell before about how, if I can help people have like really valuable, productive conversations in between, in between the readings, that could be great. So if I'm helping people do the readings and do it together, people are going to read the book, they're going to use the book, more importantly, they're going to have great conversations. So I was kicking around a couple of ideas, so I'm sort of making some revisions on the landing page here. Also thinking about the strategy for the packages. My original idea was to do 2 packages. One that was, if you've got 5 or more people, I'll do a discount, sliding scale, and offer some like extra prompts or questions to help you guide that conversation. And then a premium version where if you want all of that and for me to come in and do a live Q&A. So kind of fleshing out those packages, figuring out what to call them, even figuring out how to price them. This is kind of come together live while we're here hanging out. I know the texting crew, and actually Amy was on the podcast a long time ago. I got to reach back out to them and see about adding the book to the tour. That would be super, super fun. Nick, I'm pretty into the book overlay as well. The book overlay is here's a cool little thing about that book overlay before I get back to copywriting. Right before I built the landing page, this little tool was launched by another independent author who's doing a book for developers, and this is a really clever piece of marketing, by the way. What a great way to get you to look at his book, especially if you're someone who's a developer. And he built this cool little generator that, this book is all done with CSS, right? So you upload the image of your book cover and play with the sliders, and it tweaks the perspective and the thickness of the book and the width and height of the book, and make it look really silly. And it just gives you this HTML CSS, and that's quite literally what's here on the page. In fact, I don't have a product image of the Tiny MBA other than this. So anything that's showing up in like social sharing, graphics and stuff like that is actually a screenshot of this that I've then dropped in other sort of layered Photoshop files. So when Nick was helping me set up this new layout stuff in OBS, I wanted to put some kind of overlay with the book, especially when I'm working on the book specifically. And I was like, shoot, I don't have a transparent PNG version of the Tiny MBA book. And then I remembered, oh, wait a second, Stream Elements lets you do HTML, CSS, like objects Nick had showed me, and I just like dropped in the code and boom, it worked. So this little down the bottom right corner, that is actually generated with HTML and CSS. It's super, super cool. Oh, that's right. You did tell me that there was the texting interview that pushed you over to join 30 by 500 8 years later. Well, there's no time like the present. We're happy that you finally made your way over. So getting sort of, I'm gonna get back into. I'm enjoying this is a Philadelphia brewery. Love City Brewing is. I think they make the best New England style IPA in the city. So got one of those. I'm chilling on. So the current idea is 3 packages actually. Hey, what's up, Chris? Welcome. 3 packages. I really do want to make this accessible, and so if it's just somebody, hanging out with friends wanting to talk about the book, especially if they already have copies of the book, I don't want this page to be alienating and just seem like I'm trying to sell more books, because that's not really primary goal. That primary goal is to get people who have the book to read it and talk about it together. If that sells more books, that's a bonus. So I'm thinking that my base package is going to be free, and it's basically going to be a cheat sheet for having that conversation with a couple of friends or coworkers, or in your Discord group, or your co-working community, or whatever it is. So package number 1 is the book club free. I don't think that's a good name. I was saying to Maxell before, we'll come up with better names as we go. In my experience, package names and things like that are either like really good off the bat, or I just put something on the page that I hate and I'll come back and fix it later. Often with something that comes up later in the copywriting, something that's crispier and more specific and more audience centric and things like that. Headers, like headers and package names and stuff like that are pretty tough to come up with off the top of your head, unless you get lucky. So I was just playing with some basic copywriting here. I don't love things like how this line wrapping thing is. So I feel like also like the rule of threes, I kind of want to have a third thing here. So already own a copy of the Tiny MBA. Want to talk about with a couple of friends. I was just saying before how cool it might be if in a class, I was thinking like something that would be useful for a teacher, right? So I'm doing a couple of classroom lectures in a couple of weeks. Actually, it's pretty cool. I've got a few here, some of the local universities. Flesh that out, and then I'll reach out to some other business teachers. Share lessons with your... I don't know, that feels kind of distracting. I don't know, I'll probably come back to that. I should probably pay for Sublime if that's going to keep popping up. What I was about to do was move on to number 2. I'm just going to leave myself a little reminder to put the opt-in box here, and I'll be doing that with ConvertKit. And since ConvertKit's got, its own little bits of copywriting we'll need to do, some of the stuff that we're writing here might end up being in ConvertKit instead of on the page. Like this entire box might end up just being a ConvertKit box. Package number 2 is foundations, and this I already kind of fleshed out here. I'm curious what y'all think about, honestly, any of the writing here. If you have ideas for how I can make it better, make it crispier, more specific, more focused on the reader, more descriptive, something that you would say if you were writing this page, shout stuff out. Obviously, I can't promise I'll use everything, but if you've got a good idea, I will use it. But the idea here in this package is as clearly as and quickly as possible. I want to let people know that there's basically 2 things. Actually, and now, since we're kind of building these linearly, maybe I can save on some copywriting and some space by just saying like, if you if you organize a business book club or mastermind and want to get a discount on books, copies of the Tiny MBA for the people in your group, you to read and discuss together the foundations package is for you. Sometimes copywriting sounds silly, especially when you say it out loud. So the idea here is that, if I've got free, then I've got foundations, then I've got the premium or live. So now I can say, in addition to the helpful discussion tools, in addition to using my helpful discussion tools to spark conversations in your group, you can, if you have 5 or more members in your group, I'm saying group too many times. Let's get to the point here. In addition to using my helpful discussion tools to spark conversation group, you can save up to 30%. Boom, right? Sometimes we want to over-explain things and explain all the things, and what do they really care about? Their group and saving money. So let's see what that looks like. For those of you over here from Party Corgi, are maybe somebody can help me convert the Stacking the Bricks website to a static site generator that is faster. We're running on Nanoc mostly because Thomas, Amy's husband Thomas, is a Ruby programmer. Nanoc gave us a bit more flexibility than Jekyll did in terms of plugins, and so we've got some customized stuff. To be totally honest, we're not using most of that customized stuff, and I think that we'd be able to rebuild most of anything we do have in something that's faster, because right now every time I save something, rebuilding is slow. So I'm sitting here talking to you in part because I'm waiting for my page to compile. I want to talk with a couple of friends. A good idea. Folks earning in the 0 to 200 level. Yeah, exactly. I think that's it. Is like, I think there's two really cool opportunities with this book that's different from anything that's ever been in the Stacking the Bricks sort of repertoire. One is gifting. People love to gift. You know, if I've got a friend or a family member who's into business, I know people have already bought stacks of books to gift. People have bought, you know, for friends that are launching new businesses. That's for me, it's one of the coolest feelings to come out of this, so that people see this as something that is gift worthy. But one of the other cool things is, you know, if you've ever been gifted a book, it can feel like you've been given a chore, especially if that book is a big book. And so it's like, thanks for giving me something that's going to take me 5 hours to read. So this is like a super giftable book, right? You can say like, hey, it's a business book, but you can finish it in 30 minutes and you should probably read it more often. You know, you can even just like, when you give it to somebody, one of my favorite, I've told this to people, is like, if you give it to somebody, tell them what page in the book made you think of them, right? Or maybe a page in the book that you found helpful, because you can, instead of pointing to a chapter, you can point to like one specific thing, and they don't even have to read the chapter. They can read that thing when it's right there in front of you. So that's really cool. But to your point, Mark, Alchemist Camp is Mark, right? Alchemist Camp, I think that's right. I'm real good with faces. I'm terrible with names. You know, but I think giving people the idea of like, hey, doing this as a group will get more people to bring their friends in and go through these lessons together. I also think it's just useful to talk through this stuff and sort of get the juices flowing. I was chatting with a couple of women today on their podcast about that effect in particular of like, the reading time is not the most important part. It's like planting the seed and like kind of letting it do its thing for a while, which is cool. Maxell and Chris, thank you for the offer with switching over to a different static site generator. Not number one priority, but I will likely take some folks up for help on that. Is business group in number 2 the same as the book club title? Ooh, that is a very good point. That is kind of redundant. If you run a, say, business book group, maybe? I don't know. Cool. I'm glad I got that right, Mark. Like I said, great with names and screen names too. Human names. It's funny, people assume that because of Indie Hall that I'm great with names, and I'm like, no, that just makes it harder because I'm terrible with names and I have a million names to remember. So there's a lot of people that are buddy, pal, and friend. If you organize a business book group or mastermind, yeah, this is a real long run-on sentence. I don't like the sentence very much. So, say great for getting together. Wait, great for existing business groups and masterminds. Let's just do that. You can get, we can assume that they want. I was saying that before, like there's not as much persuasion that needs to go into this page because somebody on this page already knows what the tiny MBA is and they're thinking about how do I get my friends to read it with me, right? So great for existing business groups and masterminds. You can get a discount on a bundle, on multiple. You can get a discount if On 5 or more copies of the Tiny MBA, along with up to 30% off for you can get a let's just be honest up here. I don't need to say 30% when most small groups are only going to get 10. So say you can get a 10% discount on 5 or more copies of the Tiny MBA, up to 30% off for bigger groups. Specific, clear. I think that's pretty good. Let's see how that feels on the page. I'm also doing something here that I generally wouldn't advise doing, and I try not to do in terms of actually writing in the the UI here, because you sometimes end up writing things to fit the UI instead of writing things for the reader, and that's not always great. So, all right, this clearly needs a line break here, though. You know what? I'm going kind of bonkers here. You're all gonna see, do not steal anybody's email address. Sorry to anybody that was there at the top. We're gonna create form inline. Bum 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 bum. I think I'm just gonna do the basic one here. Call it Tiny MBA Book Club, and I'm gonna turn this guy off. Don't need it. Go send me the. What would we call? I keep saying cheat sheet, but it's not really a cheat sheet in this context. Is it like a book club guide? That's not right. Book. Ooh, send me the playbook. People like playbooks. So I'm thinking we'll call this the Book Club Playbook. Is that the word book too many times? I don't know. We'll see. And I need a color. Ooh, I learned a cool trick recently. Like you need to remember using, where I've been using Mono Snap for screen snapping for a long time, and I did not realize that when I'm in Snap View, I get a hex. I don't know if you can see it in the bottom right corner of the box that's up. There's a little hex code in there, and if I do Command C while it's there, it actually copies the hex to my clipboard. How freaking cool is that? I'm always looking for that. That is saving me so much time. So, Yahtzee. We'll make that black, and we'll make it bold. I will probably change a lot of that later. In the meantime, let's just drop this here so I can get a feel for what that looks like. Alright, let's close that out for now. We can get rid of this for now. I'm gonna see what that looks like, and then I'm gonna BRB because yo, that looks pretty good, right? I don't love the black on the pink, though. Oh, wait a sec. Wait a sec. I got an idea. Not that one. That one. I didn't save any of that, did I? Oh yeah, I did. Chrome and what am I saying? Chrome and cache. Neato. All right. Let's see what that looks like. I'm not a designer. I agree. The white on pink might be better there. If this orange doesn't do the job, which like ConvertKit is, might take a minute to show up. We'll see how that looks. I'm gonna BRB for like 5 minutes. My wife just got home. She was away for the week with family. Hey, that's pretty sweet. What do you think about that color for the button? I should probably use that in other places. Pink is our go-to, but I'm like not super married to the pink. Also, like, I don't want to draw all of the attention to that. So I feel like the pink. Nick was saying when he was designing my OBS layout that like the pink is cool, but the pink can be a lot. And so I think in the context of content, overdoing the pink can like be way too much for the eyes. All right, I'm happy with this button. I'm gonna BRB in 5 minutes. If it's looking like it's gonna be longer than 5 minutes, I'll come back and say so. But chill, hang out. I'm glad you're here. I will be back. Entertain yourselves. For those of you who don't know each other, introduce each other. Part of the goals of this channel is to build a little community of business friends. So if you don't know each other, say hello, hang out. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, I am back. I think I'm back anyway. It looks like my, what do you call it, my BRB screen expired at some point. So Nick, I might need your help. Haha. Yeah, right, because if I click on it, that's what it shows. The BRB seems to expire after 5 minutes. Yeah, so the countdown. Nick, I thought that was going to stop at the end. We might have to figure that out. But we can figure that out off stream. Nice to see that folks were chit-chatting while I was away. Let's see, we've got some 30 by 500 friendly overlaps, which is nice. Cool. Well, that worked well. I left the room and everybody was friendly and introducing each other, exactly like it would be if we were hanging out at a cocktail party. That makes me super happy. All right, so we make little communities. That is really, I mean, I said this to, so Nick has been, like I said, helping me get all this set up, and that was really kind of what attracted me to Twitch at all, is the ability to really treat these little community spaces where people can hang out and get to know each other. It's cool to do a show and teach and all that stuff, but similar to a co-working space, in my opinion, the reason to be there is the other people. So, y'all are the reason to be here. Let's see. So, I'm feeling good about most of this. We may make some tweaks. We agreed that, I was saying this pretty early on in the stream, a lot of exclamation points. Too many exclamation points. If you're like me and write too many exclamation points, welcome to the club. Still thinking about a third question here. I don't know what that is. We'll have to figure that out. Send you a one-page cheat sheet. And what I plan to do, my thought is once all this is set up, I will actually like bullet point out that cheat sheet, and I'll probably include a little thumbnail and screenshot. Actually, you know what? Maybe instead of trying to write a third thing, that's what I'll do is I'll put like a little thumbnail to the cheat sheet. And since the cheat sheet is really kind of the main offer, I'm gonna bold that as well. One-page cheat sheet. Except we decided we're gonna call it not a cheat sheet, but a playbook, book club. That's gonna grow on me, or I'm gonna grow to hate it. Book club playbook. Oh, what was the thing? I said something earlier today. I was chatting with Amy. No, I should say I tweeted something today that, hang on. I've got some things hiding off screen here. Let me try my other computer. So I retweeted a picture that somebody had posted of their copy of the Tiny MBA, and they said, you know, read through this on a tiny break today. And I quote retweeted it and said, you know, tiny breaks. What did I say? Tiny breaks for tiny books. And Amy's like, we've got to use that tagline for something. And I thought for just a split second here, maybe this was that, but I don't think this is that. So I got excited for nothing. That's okay. But I do think that a little teaser screenshot, and actually I bet where would I even have that? I'll figure that out later. One-page book club playbook that includes bonus questions and prompts, specifically designed to help you Sure, good enough. I hope that one of the lessons that's coming across here is when you see really good copywriting, it all starts out as trash. It all starts out really pretty bad. And if you're thinking that my bad is maybe better than your bad, that's just practice. Bad is everything. So I just write junk the first time out. I hate everything I write, but if I don't write it out, I never get to the good stuff. So this is like a very long run-on sentence is the thing that's standing out to me. So drop your email box below and I'll send you a one-page book called Playbook. This playbook, just say it, includes use it. They don't care what it is, but the outcome, right? So use it. Let's write the bad version and then we'll edit it to the good version. It includes bonus questions and prompts specifically designed to help you. Right, okay. Use it to use the included bonus questions and prompts to have a guide. Let's stick with that. Let's see what that looks like. I went to see the new Bill and Ted movie over the weekend. We went to a drive-in movie, which was actually pretty fun. Second time we've done that in the last few weeks. Went to see Get Out recently, and then on Saturday went to see Bill and Ted Face the Music, which was super fun and very silly and cheesy and actually kind of made me cry at the end. I recommend it. It's good. And then I went back and I rewatched Bogus Journey, which I remembered is like, you don't remember most of that movie except for the only scene I really remembered was them playing board games with death and how funny that was. But the rest of it is just quotes. Like the plot is largely not memorable. At least I didn't remember it. So I almost wrote specifically designed to help you have a most productive and valuable conversation, which definitely would have been in the voice of Bill and Ted. And now I've got a dangler, which doesn't bother some people, but it definitely bothers me. Let's see. I'll send you a totally free, and this is going to end up channeling Bill and Ted, isn't it? Totally free, all caps free, book club playbook. Bop, bop, bop. I'm betting that the folks in the chat that write in Markdown are watching me do copywriting and write HTML at the same time and are thinking that I'm mental. One page isn't necessarily a great selling point here, so I think I'm gonna get rid of that. Tiny. Ooh. I think I just might have figured this out, gang. Tiny is the theme, right? So instead of the Tiny MBA Book Club, we could just call it the Tiny Book Club. The Tiny Book Club. What do we think about that in the chat? I think we've got a winner. Tiny Book Club Playbook. All right, good. You know, so the name of this book definitely went through a revision process like this. I'd originally thought, I was like, what if I call it like the micro MBA, the Twitter MBA, something along the lines. Chris, I would love for Party Corgi to to host a Tiny MBA, and I would be thrilled to come in and do a Q&A on that one. We're talking about doing a VIP package. Actually, what would be fun, maybe we pilot some of this stuff in Party Corgi just so I can sort of work out some of the kinks. That's going to take a little bit of time, but we should definitely do that. I will add you to my list of people that are interested in that. Sweet. So the name Tiny MBA didn't start as Tiny MBA. I think I would originally call it, I have to go look at what the tweets were, but it was something like the Twitter MBA, and I was like, no, can't call it that. And then I started looking at, other variations and searching for, short MBA, micro MBA. Oh yeah, definitely, Chris and Party Corgis, because there are several of you in here. Explain what Party Corgi's up to. So this almost was, I think I almost called it the micro MBA, and I started Googling, and I want to say that already was used by somebody else, and I was like, that's going to be a pain in the butt. And then I went to mini MBA, and I was like, ooh, that's good, and that's also being used, and I was like, tiny MBA, and it wasn't used, and I felt like it was the best of them. It was like kind of cute and charming. And I had completely forgotten that the word tiny is already kind of in the lexicon of Stacking the Bricks, because we talk about making a tiny product first. So this was like already kind of weaseled into my brain, and I didn't even realize it. Tiny Book Club. Unbelievable. Team, we figured this out together. I love it. Free. Here we go. Now we're figuring it out. Free Tiny Book Club playbook. Because if we lead with free, people are like, I like free. Free is good. Yep. Yep. That's the move. And somehow I wrote this entire thing with no exclamation points. Cool. All right. Should we move on to package number 2? I think we should. So I can pull a little bit of that down here with us, right? So package number 2, Tiny Book Club Foundations. Doesn't feel bad. But it's no longer really descriptive. We could call it Tiny Book Club, because like, what's the difference between the free and this? It's a discount, right? So Tiny Book Club group discount. That makes sense, right? Other options are things like book bundle discount, and now we're saying book twice. And that's just a lot of words. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's what we want to do. So Tiny Book Club group discount. Yeah, I think I'm into that. There's also like book bundle buddy discount. I think you got stuck on the way to the end, Chris. That's pretty funny. I like it. Great for existing business groups and masterminds, because that's kind of the point, is like, if you were just trying to figure this out, it's free, go have fun, start a group. If you've already got a group, you've already got the ability to organize some people, a discount is just kind of sweetening the deal, right? Tiny Book Club group discount. Oh yeah, that's right. And I think this is way better with the line there too. Great for existing business groups and masterminds. You can get a 10% discount on 5 or more copies. What is the room's feeling on 5 spelled out, or the number 5 in this particular case? Because the numerical version of the discount, I can't write out 5%. I can. Bigger book club. Maybe. Number 5. The numerical 5 is easy to understand, but spelling out 5 is proper. Yeah. And in this context, I think that spelling it out is better because I've got the numerical numbers and the percentage, and it's kind of a jumpy brain thing. It just like that felt, my eye didn't know what to look at, right? I could easily superimpose the 5 into the percent and blah. So like 10% is clearly a percent, 30% is clearly a percent, 5 is this. So what I might do with formatting is like 10% discount on 5 or more copies. I feel like that should be bold because that is like the main offer, right? We can say in addition to the, what do we call it? The Tiny Book Club. Tiny. Mark, you'd spell it out as 5 too? Cool. All right, we're on the same page. Great. So we'll do, you can get a 10% discount on 5 or more copies of Tiny and be a 30%. Then once you have your copies, get your group together, socially distant or virtually online. Virtually online is kind of redundant, right? Let's say virtually. And put the Tiny Book Club playbook to use into action. Yeah. Use the lessons in the book to share stories, experiences, challenges, and solutions. Yeah. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that as a rough draft. With that sort of simplified, I don't think I need bullet points anymore. What do you think, gang? Yes, Mark, there is depends on exactly what's going on. There's a bit of a delay. It can be somewhere between 10 seconds and 45 to 60 seconds. Nick or Chris can correct me on that, but there is definitely a bit of a delay between the chat shows up right away, but as I'm streaming to you, that is actually what is a bit delayed. This is all redundant. Okay, this is simpler, and I like simpler. Turn on my music a little bit so I can hear it too. This paragraph still feels kind of clunky to me. Let's just get rid of that part. When in doubt, it's too clever. Cut it. That is much easier on the eyes. Then get your group together, socially distant or virtually, and put the tiny book club playbook into action. Use the lessons in the book. Use the playbook along with the lessons in the book to help your group share stories, experiences. I'm going to say share experiences, challenges, and solutions. Rule of 3. What do we think about something like book rocket? Oh geez, what am I doing here? I don't like overdoing emojis in my copywriting, but a little sprinkling can be a nice touch. All right. There's 2 things I've got left on package number 2 here. Before I think I'm gonna call this one done. I like the emojis. I don't know how y'all feel about the emojis, but I feel like the little orange book and a rocket ship is like, let's go. 2 things. One is this bold and this bold draws my eyes into 2 places, and too many bolds are visually distracting. So I'm going to change this one to emphasis instead of bold. So my thought here is the thing that's bold is like the feature of that package, because there's really one major feature to each package that builds on the previous one, right? Yeah, cool. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. Here's the question that I haven't answered for myself yet, is with the first one, this is pretty straightforward. Tiny MBA book club playbook, send me the playbook, fill this out, What do I want my call to action to be on package number 2? Curious what y'all think. So, a couple of options here. One is a button. I think my number 1 option here is a button that takes me to like a type form that asks me a little bit about their group, maybe where they are, what, who's running it. At the very least, I need to know who's running it and how many people, so that I can offer them the right discount code, right? But ideally, we can also use that to open up a communication channel. So just talking through that out loud, I think I've got my solution there, where we're going to do a button, and I'm going to cheat a little bit and steal this button. Oh, that's going to be harder than I want it to be, isn't it? Yeah. Bugger. Well, let's see. This is going to make anyone who writes HTML absolutely cringe. ConvertKit spits out some pretty janky HTML. I'm just curious how quickly I can copy this and get it to show up on the page. I will go and clean it up later. part of the way there. Let's fix this. I thought I would get lucky, and I could just, look at all this garbage HTML. Goodness gracious. That's not okay. That is just not okay. So, wrap that in a paragraph tag. Blah, 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 blah. Cool. See if that's any better. Not everybody here might know this, but my username in most places on the internet for a long time was Alex Knows HTML. It was that on Twitter. Up until very recently, it was still that on Instagram. But there's some young woman who's also named Alex Hillman who has Alex Hillman on Instagram and will not respond to my DMs asking if I can have it. Buy it, whatever. So Alex Knows HTML. That was where I sort of cut my teeth in internet stuff. However, I got good at other things while I was not getting good at HTML, and so I watch what people do with HTML, tooling and things like that these days, and I'm absolutely amazed at how far things have come. But I am a total janktopus when it comes to what am I trying to do here? When it comes to, I write some pretty gnarly stuff, and then I go back and I clean it up. Sometimes I publish it, and then I go back and clean it up. Right? That's the beauty of the internet. Someone in the Philippines convinced them to let even though their name wasn't even Maxell. That's funny. Funny. Okay. What did I do? Oh, I forgot to close quote it. Oh man, that's what happens when I'm typing and talking at the same time. I don't know how people do that. Programmers who program and talk at the same time. It makes me think of my first job with anything to do with code. I worked in computers, so I worked in more like hardware and PCs and networking and stuff like that for a long time. But my first job working in an agency building stuff on the internet, I worked with a guy who I learned a lot from. His name was Steve, and Steve was the first person who I would watch do, he would narrate what he was doing while he was programming. And I know that there's people that, a lot of people in this room who do that. People doing it on Twitch. I'm clearly very bad at it. Watching Steve write, stored procedures for Microsoft SQL Server and talk not always about that, just talk about other things. It was like guy had two brains in his head. It was unbelievable to me. All right, this is getting a little bit closer. I got a box shadow I gotta override. Told you this was gonna be janky. Told you it was gonna be janky. All right, Maxell, it was good to see you. Swing back next time. Have a great holiday weekend. If you were doing anything to celebrate that, obviously stay safe. But I hope you get outside and enjoy a little bit of it. Have a great night. What freaking font is this? All right, Mark, take it easy. Have a good one. Tell you what, for as little HTML and CSS as I write anymore, it's weird what my brain remembers. Prince is really good at talking and coding. I gotta tune into one of Prince's streams. I haven't been to one of those yet. tell it is getting late. I'm seeing some, maybe some new friends in here that have snuck in quietly. If you've joined us recently, say hello and introduce yourself in the chat. We're friendly here. We're just doing a little bit of live copywriting and business strategy. So thinking through some stuff out loud. Ah, Dave's here. What's up, Dave? Good to see you in the chat. All right, one step closer. This is getting. I'm almost there. We're almost there, gang. I think this just needs a little bit of padding. How much padding does the silly? Oh, you know what? It's not that it's padding. It's probably that it's like width 100, right? Let's do a little bit of sandbox play time here. Width 100%. Display lock. Yep. Cool. Padding 15. Ooh, it's too much. That's also too much. Is it different font size? Okay, it looks like it's 12. Font size of 20. So let's try that. Font size, padding 12. Font size of 20 px. It still feels like there's too much padding there. That looks pretty darn close. All right, let's steal all my silly inline styles. I'm so embarrassed that all of you are watching me do this. All right, so what did I do here? Width 100%, block, display, block, padding 7px, 0, font size 20px. Maybe, possibly. This happens all the time to everyone that does coding on stream. Chris, do you mean people doing things that are embarrassing and you're like, please don't judge me, I'm just trying to make it work? Is that what you mean? Because that's absolutely how I feel. Although I guess that's part of the fun, right? Is the figuring it out. That's what people are here to watch. Okay. Hey, that looks like I duplicated the button, except it's not a button, it's a link. Which means we're one step closer. I'm going to, so many inline styles. Alright, put this guy down here, below the table, the janky ass table. I'm writing inline styles and HTML tables, gang. And you're still here. You must really, really like me. This music is a little too sleepy. I really like Harris Heller's stream beats, but some of it is just a little too down tempo for me. There's a line between relaxing and the heavy narcotics. We were approaching heavy narcotics. All right, so this section looks pretty dope. What do we think, team? I'm gonna say that table being kind of narrow feels a little weird to me, so I'll come back and fix that later. That's minor. What I do know is we want to put a horizontal line after the button, so I'll go ahead and do that. and this mess, believe it or not, is a link which I will hook up to probably a type form. Nick, a URL to the full sales page, as in the page that I'm working on, or another one. The page that I'm working on, I can push what I've got up. Yeah, let me do that so you can check it out. Give me a sec, because I would love your notes. This is probably going to take a good 3 or 4 minutes before it is live on the Stacking the Bricks domain, because as I was saying before, this is all built in Nanoc, which right now our Nanoc builds are super duper slow. Not fun. Doesn't stop us from doing the job, but that part's not fun. So I will drop a link when this is up there, so you can sort of scroll the whole thing and check it out. I'm down with that. So yeah, so I'm thinking this is going to be a type form. I'm not going to ask people for their money to sign up for the book club. I'm just going to ask them for some information. Like I said, I'm thinking about this page as a super low barrier, someone who already is interested in the book, probably already owns the book, and just wants to share it with some people and have those conversations. So apply. What do we want the call to action to be here? For the group, for the group. Dave Sedia, if you were still here, I'm curious what you're working on. What are you doing these days? Last time I know you were working on, I think, a new Egghead course. But what else? How do we feel about this package number 2, gang? I'm reading through it now. Tiny Book Club group discount. I'll get back to that in a sec. Dave, Pure React video course workshop last year. Oh, yeah, how did that launch go? I knew we were working on that for a while. That was like a pretty big overhaul from your book, right? Went well. Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Lots of work. I get that. I was doing an interview with, I don't know if any of you have come across the website Failery. Failery feels to me like a kind of a riff, a kind of compliment to some of the indie hackers interviews. And the Nico, he's down in, is it Argentina? I think he said he's in. But he does a mix of failure stories and success stories and things like that. So I actually spoke to him yesterday about the Stacking the Brick story and stuff like that. And I was retelling the story because he's like, "How did you come up with 30 by 500?" And I was like, "Oh, my dude." That's not how it happened. And like all of the rewrites and revisions and you know, I know Dave, you came in when it was the pioneers version of what the Academy, but Nick, did you join when we were still doing the boot camp? I kind of lost track of time. I feel like you were part of the boot camp, Nick. Yeah, Chris, how much time do you have for this story? We actually ran over our meeting and he was late for the next one, so I had to answer 2 more questions. and they were recording later, in part because I was telling the entire 30 by 500 arc. Yeah, I thought Nick, you were part of the boot camp era. Yeah. Oh man. So anyway, Failery's cool. Nico seems like a super nice guy, and I'm excited to see how he turns our interview into kind of a story. So I'm gonna sort of read through this and see what we think. And actually, while I'm doing that, it looks like the site would be live. So stackingthebricks.com/tinymba/book club, I think is. So if anybody wants to read along, that is the URL. That is a minor version behind where we're at right now. Push that up. Oops. So, Tiny Book Club group discount. Great for existing business groups and masterminds. You can get 10% discount on 5 or more copies of the Tiny MBA, up to you can save your group members. How about that? Save your group members. Oh. Help your offer. Haha. Now we get to make them into a hero, right? It's not so that they get it. They get to offer it to their group. So offer your group members a 10% discount on the Tiny MBA with discounts up to offer your group a 10% discount. This is one of those things. Is it a 10% discount on the Tiny MBA or a 10% discount off the Tiny MBA? Offer your group members 10% off the Tiny MBA. Which one of those do y'all like better? Especially since I have the word discounts over here. Tell you what, it is fun to be able to sort of talk through this out loud. Nick, I just had an idea. While we're streaming, somebody just bought a copy of the book. And it might be because we're in here streaming and somebody just bought their copy. And if you did, thank you. It might be somebody else. But it would be cool if we hooked up a Stream Elements thing so that if while I'm on stream and somebody buys a book, we get fireworks or something fun like that. Not alarms and whistles, nothing alarming. But yeah, cool. I'm glad you're into that. That'd be fun. It just came on because I've got my iPhone over here running the Stream Deck software, and I saw the notification come up, and I was like, oh, it'd be fun to let people know that somebody just bought a copy of the book while we're on stream. All right. Offer your group members 10% off the Tiny MBA with discounts up to 30% for bigger groups. Then, get your group together, socially distant or virtually, and put the Tiny Book Club playbook into action. Tiny orange book, tiny rocket ship. Use the playbook along with the lessons in the book to help your group share experiences, challenges, and solutions. So let's say share and solutions to share business experiences, current challenges. So you're making these a little bit crispier. and business experiences, current challenges, and possible solutions. I don't love that, but I like the direction it's headed. Sometimes the direction is the part that matters. Ooh, I like that, Dave. To share their own business experiences and discuss current challenges and find ways to overcome them. Getting closer. Getting closer. Isn't there a thing that I can install that makes it so that it basically turns my computer into a tiny little web server with like a temporary private URL that you would be able to view this on your browser? As I say that out loud, I also realize the potential danger of giving people on the internet a tiny browser or a tiny web server access to my computer. So maybe that's a bad idea. But that's why we think these things out loud. Use the playbook. Let's call it capitalized playbook, since we're making that now a thing. Yeah, I think you're right, Engrok. I don't know. Programmer folks that do live streaming, what's your take on giving people a way to live view what it is that I'm working on, even if it's just to refresh the page? That feels like asking for a DDoS of my Mac Mini. Use the playbook along with the lessons in the book that needs commas. In the tiny MBA itself, to help your group share their own business experiences, discuss current and their past, present, and future challenges, and find ways to This whole thing is kind of a run-on sentence. Not my finest work, but this paragraph is starting to suck. Ooh, work through them together is good. That's good. Dave, that's great. Put some M- action in here. Oops. Hey, that looks better. Use the playbook, along with the lessons in the Tiny MBA itself, to help your group share their own business experiences, discuss their past, present, and future challenges, and work through them together. Yes. Apply for your Tiny Book Club discount. That's what they want. They want the discount, they apply for it. Boom. And I'll work on that form later. So that's in the hashtag to-do list. Cool. Nice. Thank you for your help with that, everybody. Should we move on to package number 3? And then we call it a night? Alright, so there is some wacky crap down here that doesn't need to be. We don't need this either. Package number 3. Tiny Book Club Live with Alex Hillman. That's me. I'm super curious about this one. I have sort of two schools of thought here. One is this is the thing that you put in there because somebody might want it, not because I expect people to sign up for it. But I also feel like if I price it right, A, more people will buy it, and B, that there's some kind of really cool feedback loop. Also, like, everyone who's in the live thing in theory has the book, so, you know, I can lower the price a little. I don't know. I'm on the other side of the pricing discussion that many of you have asked me about, so I'm curious, especially for those of you who have heard my advice about pricing, how would you price this, right? So this includes the free book club, Tiny Book Club playbook. It includes the discount on 5 or more books. And it includes, let's say, a 45-minute live Q&A session with me. How would you price that? So we can come back to price in a minute. What I'm thinking is, I'm going to keep this one really simple. Again, a rule of thumb for this page is these are people who are already motivated. I don't have to sell them super hard. I just got to make it clear what the thing is and make sure it's, you know, enticing and clear. Day's first guest, $99. $99 for 45 minutes of my time is a rough deal. I don't think it's going to be $99. You know, my instinct was something like an introductory price of $249 or something along those lines, which is still like a pretty serious discount from my hourly rate for consulting, but this isn't exactly consulting, although somebody could certainly use those 45 minutes for consulting. I wouldn't stop them. That's not really the point here. I feel like $250 is the kind of thing that, like, that's the kind of thing where 10 people can split it up, $25 a head. Or, you know, somebody wanted to host a regional meetup, could get a business sponsor $250. You know, it's above the $99 no-brainer price point. I think your point, Dave, is like that $99 price point is the no-brainer. If I run a business, I will spend $99 on something that seems valuable because it doesn't take a lot for me to get ROI on that. This feels like more than that, but we go too high up to like $500, and that feels like that's gonna be too rich for most people's blood. I don't command, you know, I don't fill arenas or anything like that. I've got a core audience, and again, this is not about making big money. This is just about making sure that my time is well allocated. So I'm thinking an intro rate of $249 or $299. I think $299. something like that. So I'm going to keep this one simple with all that in mind. So we're going to say everything included in the first 2 packages plus a live via the internet Q&A session where you and your group can ask Alex anything about business, the lessons in the book, even advice on your specific say about business marketing, business is fine, anything about business, the lessons, your favorite lessons in the book, not just your favorite lessons from the book, and even advice on your specific business quandary. I always relish an opportunity to use the word quandary. Let's see what that looks like. $99 felt like a natural next step from the $9 for 5 for them, but yeah, 5 plus 45, yeah. A group mastermind with Alex is exactly how I'm thinking about it. Yeah, there's a weird jump here, and maybe to your point, Dave, there's an intermediate thing that that I can come up with that fills in that price gap. Because you're right, there's, this looks a lot like the $19 for JFS, $2,000 for 30x500 gap. Maybe not that bad, but it's in the same sort of category. I'm gonna use your group mastermind with Alex though, because I think that's really, really great, where you can ask Alex anything about business. Think of this package as it's like having your own group mastermind with Alex to talk about your favorite lessons in the book and even get advice on your specific business quandary. Dave, I think we got it. See, we got a couple new folks in the stream. If you're just joining us, I would love pop your head in the chat, say hello. I like knowing who's here. What do y'all think of these backgrounds, by the way? The bigger isn't better, better is better. I've got a few others. Actually, you want to see something cool? Where is it? Where can I show you? I got a new one of these cool backgrounds. So Hannah is the designer behind the Tiny MBA. Friend of mine, Indie Hall member. We worked together earlier in the year on a little indie publication about career growth and stuff like that here in Philly. I recruited her to help me out with the Tiny MBA. She's great. I really enjoy working with her. And so there were a couple of things. Let's see, is this going to open? I hope it does. There were a couple of things that have come up since the book came out. One of them was people were asking me to sign the book, which super duper flattering. Never expected that. Because we were doing print on demand, the books were leaving a warehouse and going straight to people's homes. Couldn't sign them in between. So Hannah designed a cool little book plate that we're going to have printed. I'll be able to sign a bunch of them, and I'm going to put up a form that if anybody wants a signed book plate, they can just fill out their info, and we'll ship those to people for free, which I think is just a nice way to say thank you. I might do that explicitly for, folks who did the pre-order thing or bought in the first 60 days or 90 days, something like that. But I thought that was just like a really nice way of saying thank you to folks who I couldn't sign the book. The other thing was one of the things that I noticed when people talking about the book was them sharing, some of their favorite pages, and also some of their favorite quotes or phrases. Not that it was necessarily a specific page, but like a thing that made them go, "What is that? Like, I haven't heard that phrase before." So one of those things was this phrase, which let's zoom in a little bit. And I think that makes a really sick looking sticker or background or whatever it is. So ruthless generosity, I feel like is a pretty cool tagline. One of the things that Hannah pointed out about this sticker, this one in particular, has like a sticker or a poster you can kind of see from across the room, is like you see generosity first, and then as you get closer to it, you realize it's ruthless generosity, which just, that's awesome. It does not exist yet as a sticker. I literally got this like 3 hours ago. It's on my to-do list for in the next couple of weeks to get a lot of these graphics up on. We'll probably use Printful for making stickers and mugs and some stuff like that. I've got, if you haven't before, Printful, which also integrates with Shopify. I don't make any affiliate commission on this. Their mugs are like really quite nice. And this is one where like it's got a separate color handle, and inside I've got some that are like blue and orange. And this was like a hand lettered one that says "Make It Better" for the Philly freelance community. This was done by an artist here in Philly that I commissioned. His name is Mike Jackson. I got 3 or 4 of those designs. And that works really, really nicely. So we'll have stickers and mugs and a couple of other things, but ruthless generosity is the sneak peek. Seen here first. No one has seen this besides me and Hannah and those of you who are here on the stream. So that is coming, which I'm really excited about. All right, let's get back to the Tiny Book Club Live with Alex Sullivan. Everything included in the first 2 package, plus a live via the internet Q&A session. All right, what do we say? We're gonna bold the. So, yeah, strong. We don't need to repeat live. We already said live. A private Q&A session. That sounds a little more premium, right? Everything is live except for the things that are not live. Live is not the selling point. It's. I think your point, Dave, about this being like your own little private mastermind is, yeah, it's cool. Yeah. Dope. Business, marketing, community building. What else do you think people would want to maybe ask me about? Yeah, Dave, I totally agree. Talk about your favorite lessons from the book because it answers the question, should we read the book first? Yeah. And again, I said this, I think, before you came, Dave, like, all of these packages are not about me making money. If I'm making extra money, great. If I'm selling more books, great. They're about getting people to read the book. You know this as well as I do. If you buy the book and you don't read the book, you don't get anything out of the book. So goal number 1 here is get people to read the damn book. And everything else is sort of a byproduct. So business, marketing, community building, or anything else on your mind. have drastically misunderstood bookshelves. They're there to put books so they look good, right? I live in a house with my wife and a housemate, and both of them work in the culinary industry, and so there is a lot of cookbooks in our house. Which, this is not me complaining, because I live with two people who work in the culinary industry, and that is not a thing to complain about ever. But the bookshelf situation and the book situation is a lot. I find it very charming. We need better bookshelves. Our bookshelves are collapsing under the weight of all the books that we have. Okay. This first paragraph isn't a paragraph. It is a very big run-on sentence. So everything included in the first two packages, plus a private Q&A session with Alex. You and your group can ask anything about business, marketing, community building, or I've got two anythings. That's no good. Or the long game, since we haven't mentioned that once on this page. Chris, I'm still laughing at your I have drastically misunderstood bookshelves. That's very funny. Very, very funny. It's like having your own group mastermind with Alex to talk about your favorite lessons. Cool. So I'm going to wrap this up with one more sentence that said, like, spaces are limited. I think long game is better, right, Dave? Yeah, I was like, whatever else. And I was like, not whatever else. Like, it's not even about opening myself up to liability. It's just like people freeze, right? So even a little bit of guardrails are good. So, this package is only available for, yes, the opposite of crispy. For 10 groups. All right, we'll do a little bit of, because I mean, truthfully, I don't have time on my schedule to book more than 10 in the next couple of months anyway. For the first 10 groups that apply, pricing starts at $249 for a 45-minute session. Available in all time zones. That's gonna bite me in the butt, isn't it? Whatever, it's worth it. We've got an international audience here. So here's my thinking on this last one. We'll limit the groups just because of my schedule. That'll also encourage people to apply to be one of those first 10 groups. If we fill up 10 slots, that's amazing. I can figure out how to open up 10 or let people know when we're opening up more. Pricing starts at $249 for a 45-minute session. My thinking there is if we start at $249, that's great. But I'm thinking I'm going to do another by application thing where I can find out a little bit about their group. If this is a, you know, I think because the pricing, this is one of those situations, I don't want to make this like opaque pricing, but like I will charge $249, maybe even less for, you know, a local business meetup, and charge $2,500 for, you know, some corporate strategy group that wants to talk about it because maybe they want to. So I'm gonna kind of leave this open, not kind of intentionally be not specific, and that you know, if I was giving myself advice, I might say try it, but know that there are people that won't apply because of it. But there's so much I don't know here. I've never done anything quite like this. So I'm going to say pricing starting at $249 gives them a starting point. But based on the questions that I ask and that they answer, I think the price is kind of gonna need to change. What do y'all think about that in the chat? Again, it's kind of like teaching a class to your local tech meetup and then teaching roughly the same class with a little bit of bespoke tweakiness to a corporate client, right? They expect to pay more. In fact, they look at $249 and they go, this can't be good. I might even group size of thing could be up $249 up to a group of 5. I mean, I'd be fine with $249 for a group of 20, frankly. Group size is like not really the thing. It's more of like who they are. It's a factor, right? But it's not the biggest factor. Bespoke tweakiness needs to make it into the copy. I think you're right. I don't want to say pricing varies because that just sounds like I'm trying to confuse them. We might not have a solution for this one tonight, gang. Bespoke tweakiness needs to make itself into the copy. Man, there needs to be, somebody needs to write an ebook on how to pronounce Twitch usernames because y'all are making this hard. Warren Wang, maybe? Warren Wong? I don't know. Hey, who are you? Hi, welcome. Tell me who you are. Warren Wong. I guessed it. Awesome. Warren Wong, man, I'm impressed with me. Go me. I agree. Twitch needs pronunciations, pronouns, and time zones. Those are all great things. Oh my gosh, that'd be great. Warren Wong, where are you joining us from tonight? I'm glad you're here. Dave, your point about $249 for intimate groups of 5 indicating not for offices. I don't want to do anything that signals to offices that this is not for them. I'm gonna say I'm gonna sleep on this one. I think we've got a few options. I need to come at this with fresh eyes. It's getting close to 10 p.m. here on the East Coast. Warren joining us from Taiwan. Super cool. I was just talking about time zones, and I am, like I said, I'm happy to make connections over time zones. That's pretty cool. So, all right, I'm gonna leave the pricing piece unfinished. We've covered a lot of ground tonight. I feel really good about what we did, and I also am super, super grateful for all the ideas and contributions and feedback that got us here. Apply for your Tiny Book Club live events. Your private Let's see what that looks like. Warren, did you just sort of meander in here in from Twitch, or did you come from my tweet, or did you come from Party Corgi? How did you find your way over to our little hangout tonight? Oh, Mark sent you this way. So, that's right. He retweeted my my thing. Sweet. That's great. Very, very cool. Oh, that's right. And Mark is in Taiwan too, isn't he? Or at least he's in, I know he's in part of that world. I think he's in Taiwan, right? Note. He messaged you personally. That's awesome. Oh, you're neighbors. Oh, that's cool. Super, super cool. So he's definitely in Taiwan then. That's awesome. Well, cool. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Glad that we've got you on the follower list too. This is my first time streaming with a screen share, which has been super fun. Sort of doing this copy editing exercise, mix of strategy, mix of copywriting. Got some great help in the chat here. I'm definitely going to be doing this again. This was a ton of fun, and I'm super, super proud of what we came up with. Let me refresh this here. So let's wait to submit your application. There is, I'll tell you what, I am so grateful for the partnership that I have with Amy Hoy for a lot of reasons. But one of those reasons is how much I've learned from her, learned from working with her. And even more specifically in the last couple of years, because I've spent so much time editing like older essays, stuff that was, is still evergreen and useful, just needed to be updated. Editing Amy's work has made me such a better writer. And so one of the things I like to try and figure out how to do through doing these streams while I'm writing is it's going to help me figure out what I learned, because some of the things I haven't fully externalized to like break down into here are the steps that I consider. But editing Amy's writing has helped me be a better writer. I was joking with somebody today that, in some situations, and if I catch the right wave, I can write something that is not like, if it's not Amy writing it, but is like a pretty good approximation. It's like a Amy Hoy artificial intelligence. I'm like a few steps ahead of GPT-3 for Amy Hoy, which I'm sure she would love to hear me say. Okay, I'm gonna do one last thing here. I'm gonna center this. Dave knows what I'm talking about. So, Amy's super excited to get on this. Amy has not been feeling well recently, so I don't know when it's going to be, but she was super excited that we sort of put this together on the sly, and we'll get her on. Also, I spent some time today with Michelle Hansen, who has I'm trying to remember what the name of their podcast is. I feel really, really bad not remembering this off the top of my head. Michelle Hansen. I know I spelled her name wrong too. It's got one L. There we go. So Michelle Hansen runs a piece of software called, I think it's called Geocode. That's clearly not it. Oh, I got the... I was off by a letter. So Michelle runs... There we go. Michelle runs this software, and she does... she seems to be doing quite well. I enjoy her tweets. I've seen her through sort of our tweetosphere, and her friend Colleen have this software social podcast that I think is great. This blog post doesn't have all of the episodes though, so this... Wait. Here we go. Softwaresocial.dev. That's the one. So I like this podcast for a bunch of reasons. The biggest one, though, is it doesn't feel like a podcast. It feels like two friends who are both professionals, both women, talking about work stuff for like 30 minutes. And so it feels more like, hanging out with next to some people that are interesting and smart in a coffee shop, kind of overhearing their conversation. So I really, really like the format and the vibe, and it's really relaxed and chill. And I also really like the two of them are at really different places in their career. They're both like experienced professionals. Michelle already has a software business, and Colleen has is an experienced software developer, but is just at the very beginning of her entrepreneurial venture. And so, today I got to chat with the two of them for quite a while about how the two of them read the Tiny MBA even a little bit differently, because it's got different perspective. They both liked it, but for different reasons, which I thought was really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. But back to why that's important. At the end of our conversation, I said, "Hey, would the two of you want to come over to my house next time?" And I said, "I think it would be really fun to have the two of them here on the Twitch stream, and we'll figure out exactly what we want to talk about." They had a bunch of other things they wanted to dig into in the podcast, and we just ran long for time. So I'm going to brainstorm with them what kinds of things they still want to talk about, but I'm looking through the lens of what do we want to do that's maybe interactive, and I'm thinking, given that Colleen is kind of earlier in her journey, maybe doing a little sales safari together would be kind of cool. So lining up some of our first guests to join us here on the show. My dream of Pee-wee's Playhouse, but for Alex and his business friends, is coming true already. So I am really pumped about that. That feels nice, centered. That is a link now. There was I feel like I want to add one of our quotes. I'm by a little bit biased towards this one from Patel. I just love this one. And you saw it's next to the one from Josh Kaufman too, which I just think I'm super proud of that one. Josh is a friend before anything else, but that he was into this book made me really, really happy. And I don't think he was just being nice. You know what? Let's do that one and Josh's. And Dave's. I'm a glutton for punishment. Josh, and was that at Bacon Biz that you all talked about the home video studio setups, Nick? At Bacon Biz 2016. I was talking to Josh about his current studio, and also, what the Tiny MBA audiobook might look like at some point. He had some high-level tips, but I told him we'd get back to that when I'm a little closer to ready to do that. All right, gang, this is feeling close. This is feeling really close. So what do we have left? So I'm gonna add a horizontal rule here to be consistent. And I think the things that are left are sleeping on pricing and making a decision, maybe sometime tomorrow. I gotta make these forms and hook those up. That's pretty easy. I'm gonna keep those as simple as I can. I wonder if this should be emphasized. Oh yeah, that's better with italics, for sure. Cool. I gotta hook this up. I gotta make the playbook. All right, so let's decide, what did I say? Decide on pricing for live package number 3. Yo, Mark, well, you're back. Warren was here. Warren, are you still here? Based on the active count, I think you might be. I've got to set up the application forms, link up the application forms. And then I need to create the playbook. Oh, just that. I'm going to make that first. I'm going to do that before I do anything else, because that's a whole other project. Maybe I'll do that live on stream. I'm also going away this weekend, so maybe I'll just do it while I'm away. Or I might just be away and do this next week. There's no real pressure to get this done. Okay. That feels good. That feels real good. I'm pushing the latest up to Stacking the Bricks, so I will ask you to please don't share this, because obviously this is not done. But we did a lot tonight. How long have I been streaming? 2 hours and 15 minutes. Time flies when you're streaming. That is incredible. I did not expect that. You know, people are like, I was streamed for 6 hours. I'm like, what is? Granted, people are playing video games. I can't play video games for more than 7 minutes at a time. I'm a different kind of video game player. But learn together, save money, free bonuses. Howdy! If you host a business book club or a mastermind, you are in the right place. I feel like I can make that better, but not a big deal. Yeah, 6 is a lot. 6 feels exhausting. Free tiny book club playbook. Number 2. I also feel like, I mean, these are numbered, which implies that there was more than one, so people are going to scroll. I was like, do I need a table of contents? I don't think I do. I don't think I do. You know what is missing from this page? A link to buy the damn book. I'm just going to add that to my to-do list. Tempo for streamers who consistently stream. Yeah, you know, I've watched some of that, people breaking out to do games. Like, it seems like people almost have like a run of show where they do a thing for 15 minutes, they do a thing for 30 minutes, they do a thing for as long as it takes, which is interesting. Definitely worth researching. Definitely. But I feel really good about this. I don't feel good about a lot of the code that I wrote. This janky inline CSS. I've got some cleanup to do. To be fair, setting up this book club page, I finally pulled inline CSS out of the sales page. Finally. Into its own CSS, so I'm a step in the right direction. I've just got a little bit of cleanup to do here. All right, cool. I think, dude, straight to 2029. 2020 is I don't want to be here any more than anybody else does. Well, cool. This was super fun. Like I said, I'm going away for the weekend, so I probably will not stream again until sometime middle of next week. But this was a fun experiment. I'm glad that I did this. This has been on my to-do list for like 3 days, and so it was cool to be like, I'm gonna do this. See if anybody wants to hang out while we're doing it, and all y'all hang out, which is dope. So I think with that, I'm gonna say goodnight. It's almost 10 o'clock. Cool, Mark. I'm glad it was interesting and getting a little bit of insight into fixing copy in real time. It was useful for me too. Like I said, I'm doing it, but I don't get to sort of verbalize it out loud. Cool, gang. All right, peace. I should probably work on a sign off for this show. Keep on stacking those bricks. You know the drill. Cool. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you next week.